My name is John Condon. I'm a seventh grade science teacher up at Skyridge Middle School. And you've had a chance to watch some videos that kind of put the components of Google Classroom together for you as a teacher. My task is to show you how the workflow can go back and forth between a teacher and the students. So let's get started. So we're going to start with setting up an assignment in Google Classroom, how you can get it ready to go, including creating the assignment, adding the title to your assignment, the instructions for your students, due dates, the points you want to assign to which can't be changed, and the topic section. Assign your students something through your Google Classroom. We do this in the link called Classwork. You'll see these stream classwork and people and grades. I created a test class for this. I'm in the Classwork tab and I want to hit the word create. Create gives you a pop-down menu of many different things. We're going to use assignments to do this. Quiz assignments, questions, and materials, or just other ways that you can create material right here in Google Classroom and not have to go to your Google Drive. Assignments will pull something from your Google Drive. Reuse post is something that I use. I have 4 science classes, and so if I assign something to first period and I kind of work it out through my first period class, then I want to assign to second, third, and fourth at the end of first period, I can just go to second period, hit reuse post, and then I can assign to second, third, and fourth. So you'll find that pretty helpful. We're going to go to assignments right now. And in assignments, I'm going to put the title of whatever I'm going to assign to my students. I'm going to give them some basic instructions, in this case, just to help remind them that you need to hit the blue turn in button when you're ready to go. Then I'm going to, over here on the right-hand side, the test class. When you click that, all the classes that you want to assign this photosynthesis assignment to will show up there. Select them all if you're ready to go, or just select the first one and then use the reuse post later if you want to. The student tab is you don't have to touch that if you're just going to create and send just to your whole class. This is kind of handy. I found it to be very, very helpful with my special ed kids this past spring at Stay at Home. I would create the assignment. My para would then, through my class, would load it up and she would make some adaptations to it, and then she could actually assign it to only her students through this all students. So she would undelete everybody and just assign it to her kids, the updated version that she wanted her students to work on based on my assignment. So very, very handy. The due date's really important because we want these assignments to show up in the kids' Google Calendar. So I'm going to select the 28th. I don't pick a time. It defaults to, I believe, 11:59 in the evening, but I just don't choose that. The due date helps kids see things, assignments out on their calendars. Topics are important. There's more information on that particular coming. For now, I just like to put my topics as a week, like May 5th through the 8th or 9th, whatever it may be. And then the students know if I miss a day, it's in this week. So underneath the topic of that week, they'll see their assignments listed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's an overall look at this assignment. You have your title, instructions, your test class, what classes you want to put in, your students. Again, you leave that alone unless you want to pick individual students. Miss this one, you can always change the points to whatever you want to change them to. And that is about it for how to set up your assignments. Moving on to the next section, we'll talk about adding assignments. You can add assignments from your Google Drive, from a link, from a file on your computer, from YouTube. And when you attach them, you can choose 3 ways to do it. Students can view, students can edit, and make a copy for each student. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that in this next section. Okay, you're all set. You have your assignment titled, you have your instructions, you have your test class, or what class you're going to send it to. You've assigned some points to it, and you've picked a due date. At this point right now, we need to add your assignment. So there's 2 buttons down here. Create is a way that you can go in and create something right from here, which is easy to do. Just click on Documents and you go to Google Docs and you can type away wherever you want to do. If you've already created something, you want to go to the Add. And so I'm going to hit the Add. You get 4 options. You can add something from your Google Drive. You can add a link to something like an outside Google search, something you want them to look at, a file which could come from, say, from your computer, and you can assign a YouTube assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit Add, and I'm going to hit Google Drive, and I'm going to find the assignment that I'm going to go. And since it's under recent, I can click my assignment, which is right here. It's going to say it's selected. I'm going to hit insert, and it's going to put it right below there. At this point, you have three options. If you look at this little arrow over here, you have students can view file. That's where you put it out there, and every student that you send this off to can only look at it. They can't do anything to it. You have edit, student can edit file. This is one that every student with this can edit it. It's one assignment. It's like 35 kids work on one assignment. There's places for that, and you can do that, but you don't, generally you don't want to do that. First time I realized I was doing that is I had all these names popping up with other, as the students were typing in this one document. The one you'll probably use the most is this one. Make a copy for each one of your students. So if you select on that, and then you're going to come up to the top and you're going to hit assign, and then it's going to magically appear in all of your students' Google Classrooms as it's going. And there you go. So here's your assignment that you created. And if you wanted to edit it, you can edit it here. You can delete it here, but it's as good as gone, and your students now have your assignment. Now that you've seen how to set up your assignment and to send out your assignment to your students, what do the students see? So the next section, I want to talk about that. How the students open the assignment, how they turn the assignment in, how they add comments back to the teacher, and how they can unsubmit for corrections before grading. So here we go. How to set this up. I missed something that I think is kind of important. When you're putting in an assignment, and the title of your assignment, like I said, photosynthesis, if you put the date in there, Tuesday, April 21st, that lines up with their Google Calendar and their gradebook. And so if they miss a day of school, they know exactly what day to go to in their stream and their classwork to see what they've missed. I think that's a handy little way to help keep your students organized. So you've created an assignment, you've attached a document to that assignment from your Google Drive, and you assigned each one of your students their own copy, and off it went. And this is the assignment right here, Tuesday, April 21st, photosynthesis. But what does it look like from the teacher's side of it? Or excuse me, the student side of it. So here's Megan, here's our student, here's her stream, and there's her assignment. If I go to classwork, it's kind of interesting. I can go to Google Classroom or Google Calendar, and I can see that this was assigned due on Tuesday. So that's how that works. But if I go back to her stream, here's her assignment. She clicks on it. She sees it's worth a point, and it's due July 28th, so she has plenty of time to work on it. This is the actual assignment, some instructions you might have. Should be purple button, I suppose, right here. And this is her assignment that she's working on. She can add a class comment here if she'd like to. I'll get to more of that a little bit later. So this is her assignment. So she clicks on it, and you can put a comment in here about more directions that they want us we'd like them to do. But this is a simple, could say this is like a little formative assessment where the students can just very quickly get an idea of what they might know about this at this point. So they're just kind of working on this, and when they're done, sort of. When they've completed the assignment, this is an important part. A lot of students miss this. When they're done, Megan's all done. She needs to bounce back to her Google Classroom, and she needs to hit this big turn in button. I don't see it. You won't see it until that button is hit. So when I hit turn in, the assignment is now turned in to me, and I can take a look at it. Now, if she goes back to the assignment, she doesn't have access because she can't move it because it's turned in. So once you turn it in, it's turned in. Now you can, before you grade it, and you see a mistake or you want her to go back and work on it, you can have her hit unsubmit, and then she can work on it again. But until you grade it and send it back to her, she can't edit it at this point. So now you've sent your assignment out to your students. Your students have opened it, taken a look at it, and completed their assignment, hit the big turn in button, and that sent it back to you. So now now that's back in your court, what do you do with it? So grading and returning is the next section, which includes how do you find the assignment, scoring the assignment, adding comments to the assignment with an extension, and returning assignments to your students. Point, you've created an assignment, you've attached a document to that assignment, you sent it out to all of your students had a chance to work on it, and then they hit the turn in button to send it back to you. So when it's back to you, you can go in and you can take a look at it very easily. This is my test class where I was. Here's my assignment, Tuesday, April 21st, photosynthesis. So if I select this in the class, I can see that one student has turned it in, and that's true because I only had one student in here. If you had more students, you'd see them all in this field here. So Megan turned it in, and I can click on it. I can take a look at it as it pops up here. And I can see that she got it correct. She did a good job. And I can go over here and I can score it out of a 1. And then if you go down to private comments here, this is kind of neat because it used to be where you had to type in your comment here, and that took some time. Much more personable is this Chrome extension called Mote, M-O-T-E. If you select on this, I can give Megan my own voice recording of her work. So Megan, nicely done. You got it in on time. You got everything correct. So well done. Looks like you understand this concept pretty well. You hit done. It thinks about it. And then you hit post, and that posts to her Google Classroom. And the neat thing about this that I found is that when we're in the at-home learning, the kids can hear my voice, and I think I like that idea. That it feels more personable to me. When you're all done with this, then you want to hit return, and it goes back over to her. That's why I like to call this Google Classroom badminton. So it's back to her. But before I do that, I want to show you these arrows up here. You don't have to go out of Google Classroom to go to the next kid, next student. You can just click on these arrows to go to the next student, and it just pulls up the next one in line alphabetically, which is kind of handy. So now it needs to go back to her, so I'm going to hit return. And she has 1 point. I hit return. It goes back to her. And then when she opens up her Google Classroom, I'll refresh it. She'll take a look at this assignment. She'll open it up. She will see her assignment. She'll see her grade listed right there. She'll see my comment right here. She can play my comment, and it'll come back to her. Megan, nicely done. You got it in on time. You got everything correct. So well done. Looks like you understand this concept pretty well. So that's pretty handy. And that pretty much sums up what you can do to create an assignment for a student, to attach a document or some sort of assignment to it, send it out to your students. Your students have choices, can choose to do the assignment. And when they're done, they hit the turn in button. It goes back to you. You can comment and grade on it. It can go back to them, and that can keep on going back and forth as much as you need to. So that's kind of a quick look at how to assign assignments, what it looks like on your end and what it looks like on your students' end. Before we finish up, let's take a quick look at how topics can be used to help organize your stream in Google Classroom. So here at the very end of the Google Classroom video, I think what I want to show you and insert this really quick is the idea of the topics and how I use them for my class. So I'm going to create topic. You select topic and you put a topic in here. So I'll show you here in a minute, but I go by weeks, but you could go by standards. You could go by groups. You could go by topics. Really, it's endless what you want to add the topics to. I chose to go by the weeks, and I do that because if the student misses a day of school, they know what they missed, and so it just kind of runs in June 1st through the 5th and has each day. And that's earlier I mentioned that it's really important, I think, to add the date when you put an assignment in. The really cool thing about having these topics all year long, though, is that you got this over here that students can click and go to those actual weeks and what their assignments were. So that's what it looks like for topics. Be creative with that. One thing I will tell you, though, is that if you don't have something into a topic, it goes to the very top of your stream. And so it's not the first thing the students will see at the very top. So that's a quick little look at how topics can be used in your Google Classroom. Well, that's the end of the show. I hope you picked up something that you can use this coming school year. Certainly, if you have any questions clarification or anything like that, please give me an email. And I think you'll enjoy it. I love the workflow. I love the bouncing back and forth between students. Download that extension, the Mote, and you'll love that. You'll get to hear their voices. And if they download it, and you can certainly record to them. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great school year.